right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Aida Asadi Some, and I'm excited to talk to you today about the Master of Business Analytics program at UQ. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which UQ operates. I acknowledge the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which we meet today. On behalf of UQ, I pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognize their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. We're going to start this session today with a quick poll, which should be displayed on your screens, as well as my screen. And which asks you why you're interested in studying UQ's Master of Business Analytics. If you have a different answer, select Other and let us know why in the chat. In today's session, we will go over the key details you need to know about the Master of Business Analytics program. I will then be joined by Dr. Anisha Bakaria, where we will discuss how generative AI is influencing business analytics. As you think of questions, please put these in the Q&A section below, and we will address them closer to the end of the webinar. When you're joined by our current student, Tim Lian, and Senior Postgraduate Student Liaison Officer, Buddy Niku. If you experience any technical issues or have any comments, please use the chat function, and we will do our best to address them. So let's look at the results from the poll now. So still waiting. Has everybody answered the poll question? Okay. All right. I still can't see the results, but I will come back to it. So what is the Master of Business Analytics program? Okay, I need to open the poll to see the results. Poll. There we go. There we go. So 20% of the potential student, I'm a recent graduate and I want to become a business analytics professional. 70%, I'm a business professional and want to change my field. Wow, that's amazing. You are in the right place, right time. And there is 10% that have other reasons, but it's amazing. So to see all the business professionals attending the webinar, because that's basically what our program is going to do. So now, what is the Master of Business Analytics all about? The Master of Business Analytics at UQ combines business, data science, and philosophy to empower the next generation of business professionals to solve global problems. We have a unique focus on social good and offer a sort of a holistic program that will teach you how to influence and inform social, cultural, and environmental business challenges, introduce you to the importance of data ethics, and also prepare you ultimately for the data-focused roles in any industry, some of which might not still yet exist. It is designed to be flexible and interactive. It is 100% online and has been designed to be completed over 3 years part-time. You complete 12 courses, beginning with the foundation courses in statistical learning and business analytics foundations, before moving on to more advanced courses like business data management, machine learning, social analytics, and more. At the end of your studies, you'll complete 2 courses that you will apply what you have learned to specialist areas. This is the application and project course at the end of the program. After completing the Master of Business Analytics, your cross-functional business analytics and leadership skills will have you prepared for data-focused roles in any industry. One of the questions I always get from the students in terms of our fully online program is, what is the online student experience like? So we have 8 points to cover what you're going to be experiencing if you enroll in our program. First, in every course, you will be hearing from our industry guest speakers. Second, you will participate in engaging live sessions and live case studies and simulations. Third, you will connect with your peers through social platforms we have where you can actually share code, you can share your analysis and insights and collaborate with your peers. Third, we have an interactive learning platform in which you're going to do readings, videos, quizzes, do personal reflections, and interact with a lot of pre-made content and videos. Fifth, we have coding bootcamps in which you will come together with your academic teachers, educators, as well as other students, and will learn how to code. We understand that there are a lot of students that actually don't have that skill set in their background, so we do it in the format of boot camps to get everybody going and supported through that learning process. You're going to be receiving lots of feedback, support from programming mentor that we have dedicated for the program. We will have regular check-ins with teaching experts. We're actually quite engaged when we teach our courses. You will also have tailored professional development opportunities. This is particularly through our work-integrated capstone course, which sends you off to industry projects to do industry projects with our partners that we have built and developed uniquely for this program. Finally, we care a lot about data ethics and responsible use of data analytics AI technologies. So one of the things we have built into our program and courses is lively data ethics debates to create that awareness in our students so that they can actually deal with these issues when they are working on analytics projects. In terms of assessments and so on, we are very aware that our students are working. Most of our students are working professionals. And for that matter, we do we have planned in terms of when to assess, what to assess. For example, we don't have exams. All of the courses are project-based, and you will be given enough time to work on your projects. And most of the projects are also real-world projects so that you actually learn to do something useful already in our courses with real life implications. So if you're not ready to commit to the full master's program, you can get started with a graduate diploma in business analytics. We understand that some of the business professionals, they want to expedite, they want to finish their degrees faster. So the graduate certificate in business analytics is a one-year program. It will cover 4 courses and can be actually used as a pathway to the full master's program. Once you successfully complete the graduate diploma, you will be eligible for full credit for your study and can complete the Master of Business Analytics program in the same amount of time if you'd originally enrolled in the Master of Business Analytics. A key point of difference of this program compared to other business analytics programs is our focus on developing a community of practice. What this means is you will have the opportunity to have real live connections with your teachers, peers, as well as industry connections. Every course will also link you with the industry connections through the real life case studies, events, and other interactive learning opportunities. For example, in the first course, one of our industry partners runs every semester a stakeholder workshop in which you will directly learn from industry and unpack business problems and formulate business analytics problems through those interactions. There are 3 key advantages of studying your postgraduate degree at UQ Business School. Number 1 is really the fact that UQ Business School has a strong global reputation reflected by our rankings and graduate outcomes. We have 93.6 graduate employment rate. We are 5 in Australia for business and economics, 1 in Queensland for business and economics, as well as we have some of the best industry partner and that are meaningfully developed and maintained over time. The second advantage is that in terms of industry partners, I want to go into a little bit of details here. We have over 130 global exchange partners across more than 30 countries, including Harvard Business School, University of Glasgow, Copenhagen Business School. You can travel to one of our partner institutions, combine your study with travel, and enhance your employability. Our connections can also get you set up with internship opportunities with global companies, providing you with sort of demonstratable skills and experiences that are valued by employers. By making the most at UQ Business School's connections, you can actually do the Master of Business Analytics from anywhere around the world and build a global network. For example, after graduation, many business school alumni have gone on successful careers in global organizations such as Google, Microsoft, Apple, IBM, and EY. A third major advantage of studying the Master of Business Analytics at UQ is that you'll have access to the same support resources as on-campus students while enjoying the flexibility of a 100% online program. One such support resource is UQ's dedicated careers and employability team. The employability specialists in this team have extensive recruitment industry experience as well as networks. They provide personalized coaching, insights, practical tips to help you advance your career opportunities, with some being exclusive to UQ students. Through the student employability programs available, you'll have the opportunity to learn and practice employability skills that will help you stand out from the crowd in a highly competitive job market. University is, of course, more than just study. Studying a postgraduate degree at UQ gives you the opportunity to establish networks that will continue to support you throughout your career. As a UQ postgraduate student, you will have the opportunity to join any number of clubs and societies with over 200 of them to choose from. In addition to our student social clubs, there are several clubs and societies that will provide you with a network of peers with similar career aspirations, such as the UQ Business School Postgraduate Association, the UQ AI and Machine Learning Club, and the Business Analytics Networking Association. This is a good part. There are 4 scholarships directed specifically through students enrolled in the Master of Business Analytics. The first is the Financial Hardship Scholarship, which encourages and supports Indigenous domestic postgraduate students enrolled in either the Master of Business Analytics or the Graduate Certificate in Business Analytics. The second is the Public Sector Management Scholarship, which supports domestic students who are currently employed in public sector. The third is Rural and Remote Scholarship, which focuses on supporting academic excellence, rural or remote, to encourage professionals to improve business performance in a rapidly changing environment. And the fourth one is for women in STEM. It encourages high-performing women to undertake postgraduate study in the field to retrain and improve the representation of women in STEM. The university also offers a range of other scholarships for postgraduate students that are worth having a look. Visit the website on the screen and scan the barcode if you're interested in finding more about UQ scholarships. We also offer a limited number of Commonwealth supported places, or CSPs, for this program based on academic merit. These are allocated after the closing date for applications and before orientation. Please note, eligible domestic students that meet entry requirements to Graduate Certificate in Business Analytics or the Masters will receive CSPs if they apply to commence in semester 1 or 2, 2025. Places cannot be deferred. For domestic and international students to begin studying the Master of Business Analytics in semester 1, 2025, you will need to submit your application by 31 January 2025. And the semester will start in February, of course. And the to start at semester 2 2025, applications close on June 30th, with classes beginning end of July. This is all about sort of overall information about the Master of Business Analytics. We do have a taster session right now. I would like to introduce Dr. Anisha Bakaria to give you a brief introduction on generative AI before we discuss how generative AI is influencing the field of business analytics and our master's program. Anisha has actually been one of the people that I have interacted quite a lot in development of this master's program. She used to be in our Institute for Teaching and Learning, where she was supporting many academics that had ideas in terms of using analytics data for their courses, and has built some of the very actually amazing tools, analytics tools for teaching and education. She's a senior lecturer in our School of IT. She's a very seasoned data scientist and analytics manager, I would say. What is also amazing about her, that she is very practical. She has written, I believe, more than 10 books in the area. She has an amazing capability to learn novel technologies, to understand their positive and negative, and to also embrace it for good change, and also lead, I would say, the whole university in certain directions. Anisha right now has a very competitive grant that is trying to help all of the UQ academics to move forward in their generative AI journey. And that's one of the reasons that I've invited Anisha to join and talk to you about generative AI. And she will be guiding us through in terms of the program and how the program will envision using generative AI. So I will hand over to Anisha right now, and I will get back to you after Anisha's taster session. Welcome, Anisha.
Okay, thank you so much, Ida. Thanks for having me, and thanks for that really humbling intro as well. I'm basically going to give you a little taster of what's possible with generative AI, and then we're going to look at how your future skills need to develop to take advantage of this. And so with that, next slide, please. All right, so I guess everybody is really familiar with generative AI and would have gone in and had a little bit of a play. You might not have looked at it from a data science, data analysis perspective in terms of some of the capabilities. But just a couple of months after ChatGPT got introduced, and that was really a game changer in terms of AI and what it was capable of. One of the key things from ChatGPT was that it was really good at generating code. And it was only, a couple of months after that you really started to see publications and a lot of actual data scientists and data analysts starting to use that in their daily activity. And this was a paper really early on that actually was available since about April 2023. It's finally been officially published, but it really started to look at if these large language models can actually generate code for very distinct and high-level analytics activities as part of a life cycle of data science, what should data science education actually be doing and actually be teaching? All right, next slide. So I always love to showcase the capabilities of large language models in all the presentations that I actually do. And I wanted a way to actually look at the impact that these large language models are actually having across data analytics, data science. And so what I basically did was find all the blog posts, and I've just chosen a couple here. Find those blog posts that are talking about prompts for data science, the top 10 prompts for data science, the top 50 prompts for data science. Find a few of them and actually because ChatGPT can actually go and surf the web, grab the data, and then summarize it, I basically just posed that into a prompt for it, basically. And you can see here, it started to look up all of those articles. And if we look at the next slide here, this is the summary that it comes up with. And it actually even, I ask it to give me an example. So this is my way of validating what it's saying, and also giving me a chance to review the type of prompt that was written for that particular category. And you can see here that large language models are being used across a broad range of tasks in data analysis, data science, machine learning, and even to assist with things like data ethics and bias, particularly. And so you can now see the impact that large language models, but in particular, are having across the field at the moment. Okay, next slide. Um, One of the key things that really struck out to me, especially when I start to read a lot of these prompts, is that they're not really generic. And there is really the people that are really having success with these models and able to effectively apply it in their workplace, they know very specific prompting techniques. And so prompting is really the instructions that you give these large language models. And yeah, you can see I'm actually able to get a large language model to not just do analysis, but actually generate a dashboard. And now this is pretty powerful because it takes the analysis that you will do away from just you being able to do it every time someone asks you, but it gives you the possibility of being able to build a data product that you can now release to your organization. So I know a lot of you are coming into data science and looking at this degree program to actually take you to the next level. And a lot of you would realize the importance of not just having code that runs for one particular person that then needs to share it in an organization, but you would hopefully see the benefits of being able to have these as a data product that anybody in your organization can use, because that's where you're going to make the impact in what you do inside there. So here you can see using very specific technology terms, and I'm also very specific about the type of analysis that I want, um, and what that user face needs to look like. So take note of the domain language that I'm using inside there. And then the next example, just to also give you a taster, and this is more that just to showcase the capabilities of these large language models, ChatGPT came out with custom GPTs, and this lets you write your own system prompt and use tools and basically let the code be executed for you. Um, and I wanted to put this all together to show that I could build a data science, data analysis type product, where you could upload a CSV file. It would go and do the analysis, uh, write the code for that analysis, generate charts, but then also start to use tools. And tools are just the libraries that it has access to take those charts, put it into a Word document, describe the trends, and then give it to you to download. So there's a whole heap of capability inside there. And if you go to the next slide, I did not have to do a lot of work for it, basically. These are just inherent capabilities. What I did have to do is really specifically be able to describe what I want the model to do for me. I had to know the capabilities. I had to know where they fall short. In this particular case, it was struggling to generate the Word document with the images, but I could scaffold that with some extra code that I could teach it to do. And the rest is really just giving it instructions. And so, next slide. And so here you can see ChatGPT writing the code, getting the charts, and then giving you a Word document that you could download. That's actually quite neatly formatted. But, and this is where you start to think, okay, with all of this, if I want to go into data analytics, why do I need to do this master's degree program? Well, there's a lot that I've actually overlooked in terms of expertise. So the model's able to do something, but how do we validate? So it's chosen the charts all automatically. It's written the trend descriptions all automatically. Has it done the data cleaning properly? Has it actually effectively analyzed and interpreted the data. And so you can see now, this is where a skill set of someone graduating from this program would really step in and take this much further. And you can see the type of questions and the type of skills that you will need. Okay, next slide. And I think it's a fair question for anybody, not just in data analytics or data science. At this moment in time, with the rate of pace of generative AI and large language models, to actually start asking themselves if a lot of this can be automated, um, why do I need to learn these new capabilities? Why do I need to study further? Fundamentally, what's actually happening is we've just got a new higher level abstracted way of talking to computers that they can actually understand. The abstraction layer now is not that you have to write specific code syntax to do things. You still need to be able to give the instructions. You still need to be able to interpret, to validate. And from my perspective, I'm seeing people that actually have that fundamental knowledge and that domain knowledge actually surging ahead far above anybody that doesn't know that and then's just using generative AI. That's really the distinction that you're going to have to make for your career. But what I show you in this mind map basically is that you really need to understand the industry that you're working at. You really need to know the domain knowledge and things like being able to interpret the results, being able to validate, test, and debug what's coming from there are still really relevant skills. And you also then really need this really strong background in knowing the capabilities and particularly where these models fail. So you can imagine a lot of this being embedded in your enterprises and your organizations at the moment. But like humans, these models are not perfect. And so how do you take advantage of them and work around these capabilities, as well as having things like ethics and privacy? So for me, at the end of the day, having the domain knowledge and the background coupled with generative AI, which particularly eases the need to know a lot of hardcore programming syntax. So now you're just able to talk to a computer basically. Um, this is going to let you do a lot more complex analysis, uh, build more data products, and then have the capability to actually make an impact in your organization. Um, that's basically all I have to share with you today. And so I hope I've given you some insight into where things are headed and why you need much more domain knowledge than ever before.
Um, Thank you so much, Anisha, for the lovely presentation. And I really like the language and the perspective you bring in terms of building data products, because I would expect that would be something that our students will need to do. And there's a lot of specialized also knowledge from prompting and working with these large language models that they will need to learn to be able to use it professionally. So it's not just chatting with an LLM, it's more of professional use of these models that will help them in terms of their careers and career progressions and so on. So I do have three very small questions from you. One is that, can you talk a little bit about actually your initiative and your grant about the prompt engineering sort of assist that you're building at UQ, and how that's gonna how that's gonna influence our courses? Can you provide a little bit of a
Sure.
description of that and your sort of vision for it?
So yeah, so the main drivers behind the prompt engineering or the AI assisted coding prompt engineering is, um, I guess I spent a lot of time on the X platform or Twitter as it was formerly known, and I'm seeing a lot of people that are able to create full products, and the skills that they're picking up there are not directly related to knowing programming syntax. So there's definite skills where they're able to describe what they want and rapidly iterate. They're able to actually test and validate what they're building a little bit better. And to me, basically, I'm seeing mixtures of skills. So things that we would previously have expected. just an IT student to do, or just a data science student to do, or just, someone doing an arts degree to do before, or even, a person doing marketing. There's actually a merging of some of those skill sets. And so people learn something in one domain and then are able to apply it. So um, pretty much in things that I've been involved with, and previously, I worked in learning analytics, which is, a sort of more human-centered, education focused data science or applied type of data science. Um, is that we always wanted to build a product and take it out so a lot of people could use it and it would embed the analytics in your large organization. But I would get people that applied for that and they'd be excellent at statistics, but they couldn't do some of the programming syntax, right? Um, and so the aim of the grant is really to say, okay, we can actually take all these different domain areas further if we embed AI assisting coding correctly in our courses. So there's no reason why anybody that graduates can't have their background domain knowledge. In this case, it might be, statistics and business analytics and interpreting data. But there's no reason why they then cannot take those skills and say, I can now get this data product that I can release to my organization. And so for me, fundamentally, is if we can embed it, it's going to make our graduates have the skill sets they need for the next 5 to 10 years.
That's amazing. So with a little bit of a background, for example, in the Business Analytics Foundation course, where your actually initiative has inspired us to use Google's Gemini AI Assist right now in the course to teach Python. And when I think about it, many of our students don't have that programming background, and they probably are not going to become programmers. But now they have the opportunity to actually learn the prompts they need to be able to generate code from their from, for example, Google's Gemini. So in this case, what is happening is that we are sort of the LLM is providing a new skill set to our students, but also based
Excellent.
on your presentation, there's the sort of domain expert sort of prompts, right? So that our students, because they have business backgrounds, like I was reading the chat in HR or marketing. So it's really from a sort of skill set perspective or generative AI literacy perspective for our students is to learn both the technical prompting and something I've heard you talk about computational thinking as well as the
Yeah.
domain expertise. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah. So I think from multiple perspectives. So where I see people not really doing well with using large language models to generate, some software or some programming code or some data analysis code is where the prompts are really generic. So it might be perform data analysis for me. Okay, not really specific. You haven't been specific at all, but also they'll land up with something perhaps in the wrong programming language where they can't reuse it. So they might not know that whether they need to use it in R or they use it in Python, or it might just be using what's internal inside the large language model, in which case you've actually uploaded your whole data set and you might be breaching privacy. So you can see how
Mm.
the AI literacy comes into play there, knowing the specific terminology. Um, the other spot I think where people run into issues is, if you don't know, very important step with all data analysis, and it probably takes 80% of your time at the moment, is data cleaning. And
Right.
and if you don't know the type of data cleaning that you need to do and the steps involved, and I say, no, it's very important because now you've got generative AI. It's going to try and attempt to do cleaning in a certain way, and it might get it wrong. And that's going to affect the rest of your analysis and your interpretation. And so while you don't need to know how to do the programming, and you could ask it to do these things for you, your way of testing and validation is going to come from your domain knowledge. And that's knowing those techniques to use. Um, and those are just the things I've noticed where I see people excelling and being successful with these sorts of skills. And it's also the people that are able to actually get these products out and used without their analysis being challenged. And that's what, to
Right.
me, has been making the difference.
So in some ways, the expertise actually becomes much more important to be able to use the tool in an effective manner.
Exactly right. And so the other thing is like programming and writing of syntax, which is very specific syntax, has always kind of been a crutch for me. Is that, you're not teaching people 4 years of programming, but then they need to go and apply it. If we're carefully embed AI assisted programming, we can we can basically take people to the next level without having those specific fundamentals, as long as they know what to check for, and how to prompt.
And the final thing, Anisha, that I have heard a lot is that programming, especially for people from other fields, could be quite frustrating. And having Gen AI assist with you could actually help you to sit there and get the help and manage, your frustration if there is an error and have that sort of, in a way, a pair programmer, someone there or some agent there helping you go through. Thank you so much for this,
Exactly. Thank
Anisha.
you. Yep.
Thank you. So we'll come back to you at the end of the session again for questions.
Sure.
I would like to introduce the other members of the today's panel. So joining myself and Anisha, we have Buddy Nuku, who works in our student administration team here at UQ Business School. Buddy is amazing. You will see if you interact with him, he knows answer to any questions and has an amazing energy that makes it really, really efficient to go through the process at UQ Business School. And Tim Leon was one of my students. He's a current Master of Business Analytics student. He works in the health context and has been already sort of using the program in terms of sort of his career transition. He has been one of our top students. He's actually analytics and systems lead at a leading medical image company based in Brisbane and focuses primarily on workforce and business analytics. So I would like to start with some questions for Tim. So welcome, Tim. The first question I have for you is, why did you choose to study the Master of Business Analytics at UQ Business School, which can be the same question for the participants today?
Thanks, Ida, and very excited to be here today. Just want to start with, from the earlier poll, 70% of your business professionals and want to change your field. That was me before I started the program. So we're in the same position here. And I guess for me, I came from a non-data analytics background, so no technical skills. What I knew was Excel spreadsheets, so very different to what you require as a data analytics professional. And I guess for me, the reason why I chose it is because at that moment I was in operations team. I saw an opportunity in data analytics for our company, and to grow this area, I required that technical capabilities of data analytics, but also the business acumen as well, which the course have offered me. And I'm actually doing the program through work as well. And I consulted with our execs at that moment, and we all decided that business analytics was something to pursue in comparison to a data science or data analytics program that's offered, and particularly sitting inside a business school, that was something that was very attractive to them. So it was great. So that's my story.
That's amazing to hear. So what are some of the key skills that you have been taking away to your workplace?
Everything. So I think for me, first thing is you learn the fundamental skills. So for me, because I didn't know programming, I had no technical abilities. So learning SQL is a very fundamental skill, extracting data from the database. You also learn basic database concepts. So that was a good overview to have. You also learn advanced analytic skills such as data science. So we learned Python very early on. That has been a game changer for me for what I can do at work. So it's a capability that I really I guess was impressed by. Machine learning, text analytics. You also learn soft skills as well. So that's paired with your technical skills. So soft skills like managerial content, project management, ethics and regulations. And also, it goes beyond that. So one of the biggest thing for us as medical imaging businesses at the moment is there's a huge element of generative AI being implemented in this space. So there's been, one of the leading, I think, companies is actually supporting our radiologists in using AI to identify pathologies for patients. And for us, it's being AI ready. So we understand the importance of generative AI, how that impacts the industry for work. So it's an all-encompassing, holistic, I guess, course to take on. And these are all the key skills that really help me with my career and at work. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tim. So I just want to highlight that Tim's sort of journey through the analytics and his career focus on health and health AI was recently captured and published by Australian Financial Review. So it's amazing to see his progress and his impact. I would like to open to student questions now. So I'm just going to go to the Q&A. Industry placement. So first question is about industry placement projects. Does UQ and this program facilitate these questions, or is it up to us? So in our final course, which is Business Analytics Project, it's actually a consulting course, or a consulting model is employed there. And there are 3 options available. One is bring your own project. So if you're working in a company and you have your managers supporting you and have a particular analytics problem, bring your own problem, and we will contract your workplace, and we will work with them and you to finalize that, to do that project. That will have some advantages in terms of your domain expertise, etc., etc. We do have connections we have built, and many of them actually at this point. We have connections, for example, with SAP. There's local sustainability company, NGH. There's Mayo. And a number of these companies are growing. So if you don't have your own project, we will connect you. And we also have identified a number of challenges in the education space within UQ. So some of the students we have in the past, they actually have been from education context, so they have been happy to work on some of the sort of learning analytics type questions that are sort of a challenge from UQ's perspective. So there's sort of those 3 types, but we'll definitely connect you if you don't have a project. So the question from Marcos Swalic, who would you recommend study the Master of Business Analytics versus Master of Data Science? I would just think maybe I will open this question for Anisha to hear your perspective on this one.
So yeah, that's quite interesting, right? So if you were more into learning much more about the algorithms and the programming side, it would be the Master of Data Science. If you're coming more from a business perspective and more of wanting to apply, I would go for the Master of Business Analytics. Yeah.
Buddy, do you have any admin prerequisite kind of considerations for this question?
Yeah, good question. For the Master of Data Science, if you've come from a more technical background, say be computing, IT, statistics, then the Master of Data Science may be the program for you in terms of that sort of like the algorithm and programming side of things. From a Master of Data Science perspective, the entry requirements differ slightly to the Master of Business Analytics. So I'd recommend having a look at those entry requirements. Sometimes we've seen some students that haven't met the same discipline or relevancy requirements to get into the Master of Data Science, and then moved over to Business Analytics. But I would strongly recommend to review their entry requirements first before applying.
We also have had in the past the students that have had technical backgrounds coming to our program because they're interested to learn about the business side and the stakeholder management side of things. And we have had some really good programmers actually joining us. But there is, if you have a technical background, I always say you have a technical background, you need to be business savvy. So the opportunity is to come join our program and become business savvy. And if you are business savvy, you need the technical details and technical knowledge, but you don't need to go as detailed as the Master of Data Science. And then again, our program will help you there as well. Next question from Justin. Do we learn all the skills shown on this current slide? I believe that's the slide with the program with the courses. The answer would be yes, if that's the slide you're referring to. So I will answer with two sort of angles to this. We had the slide where there were the courses. You will go through all of that. There will be sort of a lot of technical skill set, managerial skill set. For example, we also have data monetization course, analytics business analytics project management course, competition course, a strategy course. So there will be all of that. There's the ethical courses. You will get that skill set in case you want to work in that space. There's a lot of professional roles now on responsible and ethical use of data and governance of data, which is very suitable for our students. There's also the technical courses, 5-6 technical courses that will help you with visualization, stats, machine learning, social data analytics, and etc. And I guess with the generative AI, maybe a slide that Anisha had, I would also like to say that, for example, in our foundation course, we already use Google's Gemini to help with programming, to help you with programming, and we teach it properly. So that's our goal, that we do teach the Gen AI to our students so that they can use it professionally and effectively. The last question is, I'm understanding that this isn't as much about learning how to code, but rather learning how to prompt to acquire code. Is that right? And beyond that, are we learning how to interpret the data that we are giving, how to interpret regressions, factor analysis? Absolutely. So the way we actually approached it this year was that we thought for students to know if the code is actually accurate, we need to teach them the coding. So we actually went through everything that, for example, when Tim was taking my course, we had those Jupyter notebooks that we were teaching them, the students, how to write Python code. We did the same thing. That was not different, because we actually want you to learn how, if you don't know the concepts, and what Anisha would talk about, that computational thinking, you actually won't be able to validate and understand how to do it. So we went through all of the teaching in those boot camps, and then we said, let's now learn how Google's Gemini will help you to generate the same code and validate it. So we taught students how to prompt it and generate the same code. And also we showed that sometimes the LLMs will get it wrong, and that's why you need to know it to be able to understand if it's right or wrong. We do have a lot of focus on interpretation of the results and sort of that decision-making side of things. If you're doing Master of Data Science, you might end when your analysis ends, whereas in Master of Business Analytics, we go and ask you, okay, what is the decision? What actions you're going to take based on this? How are you going to change the process? How are you going to build products? How are you going to influence business value from this sort of data product or the information solution that you build? All right, that's the final question. And I do see that there's been other questions that have been answered. And I know that we're almost out of time, or we're actually 4 minutes over time. If you have any more questions, please do reach out to us. We are very, Buddy, myself, we are very sort of agile in responding to students, and will help you go through the process, or help you with any questions you will have. So a big thank you for joining me today to discuss how we can help you become a future business analytics leader. If you have any questions about business analytics, or any other actually postgraduate degree that we offer at UQ, please reach out. You can contact us via the email or scan the barcode and reach out to us. We look forward to reviewing your application, to submit the application. I also want to highlight that as a final thing, that we do have the Business Analytics Community event, and our next event is going to run on 14 November. That's for our current students, but we are hoping to open it up to some of our prospective students as well. We will share you the link, and hope to see you also in person. The event is going to focus on how to use generative AI to build agentic workflows, which is a very hot topic now in industry. And yeah, I hope to see some of you in that event, and we will share the details through email. Many thanks, and have a good rest of the day.